Welcome to Thinking Big. Now you might be wondering why I have two big jars here with me. Well, it has everything to do with our big idea of commitment, making a plan and putting it into practice. Stick around to find out how. First, I have a question for you, and it's an easy one. Is this jar full or empty? Yeah, of course, it's empty. Well, I'm going to let this jar represent your life. Well, really, the time that you have. And today we're going to look at how we fill our time. I have some things here. I have some sand, some small pebbles, and some rocks. Now, each of these things represent a way we can spend our time or how we'll fill up our jar. So let's let these pebbles represent the fun things we like to do. Things like playing video games, going to birthday parties, taking naps. Well, okay, maybe you don't like taking naps, but you get the idea. Okay, so let's pour the pebbles into the jar and see what happens. Okay, so our jar is not full, but we have filled it up a little bit. So let's take a look at the sand. Now, the sand is going to represent things that we like to do, but we have to work at them. Stuff like learning to skateboard or gymnastics or mastering a new taekwondo move. So I'm going to pour the sand into the jar and we'll see what happens now. Wow, that's a lot of sand. We're learning a lot of stuff here. That's pretty awesome. All right, well, our jar is getting a lot fuller, isn't it? Well, it looks like we still have some time left, so let's take a look at the big rocks. Now, the big rocks are going to represent the things that we really need to do. Things that maybe aren't quite so fun, like homework, obeying our moms and dads, doing our chores, making smart and healthy choices. So let's go ahead and put some of those in here. All right, I think we have room for some more. I don't know, our jar is getting pretty full and I have some more things. Let's see what happens. Uh-oh, we're getting pretty close to the top. Oh no. So obviously I still have things that I need to do, but I don't have any more time in my jar. So let's think about this. If we only have room for fun stuff and for things that we like to do, then we're going to be a really good skateboarder who is very good at video games. And while that might sound really fun, it probably won't maximize our potential or help us treat others right. So it's definitely not the smartest decision. And what does all this have to do with commitment anyway? You see, commitment is making a plan and putting it into practice. I'm not going to lie, commitment is hard. It's making sure we're doing the things we need to do before we do the things we want to do. If we want to make smart decisions, treat others right, and maximize our potential, we have to make sure our priorities are in the right order. So I'm going to show you something pretty cool. Let's look at this other jar. It's empty again, and here are the rocks, the pebbles, and the sand, and let's see what happens when we put our priorities in the right order. If we focus on what we should do before we focus on the things that we just want to do, and let's see if we have room for it all. You might be thinking it's the same stuff and it didn't fit before, so there's no way you can do all the things you need to do and all the things you want to do and all the fun stuff. But let's just find out, okay? So if our priorities are in order, that means that we're going to make a commitment to being a good student. And it means we're going to study and do our homework. And if our priorities are in order, then we should make the smart decision and make the commitment to do our chores. Means doing them every day to the best of our abilities. If our priorities are in order, then we should make a commitment to following directions from our parents and teachers. It means listening and following the directions first time without complaining. Whoa, those sound like some pretty difficult commitments to make. And commitment is not just making a plan and putting it into practice and following through. Look at our jar. When we make commitments and our priorities are in order, it looks like all the stuff we have to do fills up the whole jar. But watch this. If our priorities are in order, after the stuff we have to do, we'll still have stuff for the time we want to do. Stuff like learning to skateboard, and learning how to cook or draw or paint, things like learning an instrument or running a mile or kickboxing, things like taking care of a pet. When we have our priorities straight, we have room for those too. So, our jar is definitely not full now, but what about the things that are just plain fun? The things like lying around and watching TV or going to birthday parties or eating candy, the things that really don't take any commitment. If we do what we have to do first, and then do what we would like to learn to do, guess what? We still have room for the just plain fun things. And that's what commitment and priorities are all about. When we follow through on our commitments, then we're making the smart decision and treating others right. When we have our priorities in order, there's room for everything. And that's really maximizing your potential.
Thanks for tuning in to watch this awesome video all about the big idea. Click here if you want to see even more videos about big ideas, or you can subscribe to our channel so you know when the latest video has been posted. You can also check us out on Facebook or thebigideiaexperience.com. I did it! That was it, right?